Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Netflix show Blood of Zeus. Fun fact, this show is produced by Powerhouse Animations, which also produces another popular anime show on Netflix called Castlevania. The show came out in 2020 and was one of my personal favorites of the year. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The show is about Greek history. It tells the story of Heron, who lives in this small village with his mother, and the village despises him because he is illegitimate. Heron, as well as the other gods, find out that Heron is the son of Zeus. When the gods find out that Heron is the son of Zeus, Zeus's wife, Hera, is understandably upset at Zeus's infidelities. As tensions rise with the gods, down on Earth there's a demon army that was created from the remains of the giants. This army is being led by Seraphim and is growing and wreaking havoc on towns. Heron must not only stop the gods and these demons, but also the giants. Disney's Hercules introduced me to Greek history, and ever since I saw that movie, I've been obsessed. Blood of Zeus offers a more realistic take on the Greek gods and adds a little twist to it. They put Zeus's infidelity front and center and shows the wrath of a scorned Hera. The show has some other storylines, but one of the big ones focuses on Zeus and Hera's relationship. I thought it was cool to finally see this on screen and see how Hera is shown as, being evil, but it doesn't necessarily start that way. She wasn't always evil, but the road that Zeus has gone down has really led her to be that way after being hurt by him so many times. I think that Hera's anger should be with Zeus and with Zeus only. We often see her being mad at Zeus and Zeus's kid and the kid's mother, when in reality it should just be all targeted at Zeus, in my opinion. This is not really a complaint of the show, it's just more of a general statement. But anyways, I would never want to be on the opposing end of Hera's wrath. Also, the main issues stem from the gods, and they try to pretend that the issues of the world don't affect them. I thought this show did a great job of showing how the gods are basically the cause of the problem and have created a domino effect that eventually leads up to a civil war between the gods. I thought that Seraphim was a very interesting character. He was a character that let his hate consume him and eventually led to him becoming a demon and killing all of these people. He even killed his mother, even though he didn't know that it was her. He was clouded by this hate, and that definitely influenced his judgment. Both Heron and Seraphim have anger issues stemming from their past, but they each handle it differently. We see Heron handling it by eventually letting it go so it doesn't hold him back anymore. Seraphim, on the other hand, holds on to it really closely and lets it sit and fester. It's interesting to see because they're brothers and we can see how differently they act based on their circumstances. I love seeing Alexia on this show because she is the definition of a badass. She is an Amazonian, and it's really cool to see how great she is at fighting, and she really holds her own when she's battling these demons and even going against some of these gods. I love how they showed some other gods as well. It was really interesting to see their powers, but also to see what side would they join. Would they go with Zeus or would they go with Hera? I love that Hermes, who is a son of Zeus but not Hera, is nice to Heron and is very welcoming. You could tell that he has felt some of Hera's wrath, but not on the extent that Heron has. I think this is because Hermes is a god while Heron is a demigod, so I think that Hera is a little bit nicer to Hermes, considering that she also always has to see him, compared to Heron, who she's just met, and he is just getting her full wrath. It was really cool to see the giants in this show. We hear about them throughout the season, and at the end of the season, we finally get to see them in action, and they really give the gods a run for their money. We start and finish off this season with the giants. We start off with the giants going into battle with the gods and losing. But from this loss comes demons who feed on the flesh of these fallen giants, and they transform from human to demon. We see one particular demon, Seraphim, who becomes the demon leader and ends up teaming up with Hera and, eventually carrying out her attack on Mount Olympus, in which she also teams up with the giants again. So we see them in the beginning of the season, we see them at the end of the season. I think one of my favorite scenes of this season was the big battle at the end of the season. In this battle, amongst other things, we really get to see how much Hera and Zeus still care for each other. Hera is carrying out this attack on Mount Olympus, but she finds out that, she really still cares for Zeus once his life is really put in danger by the giants that she has unleashed. It's a really interesting story to see kind of come full circle, because you kind of start to see like some regret on Hera's end on what she's doing, but also probably some regret on Zeus's side for how much and how bad he's treated her. I think that it was interesting too to see like the giants eventually betraying Hera, as well as Seraphim, because I kind of saw that coming, just because she basically went with this model of like my enemy is my friend, but the giants are no friend to gods, considering that they trapped them for years and years. But Hera thought that they were, and it backfired on her. Also, one of the biggest parts for me was finding out at the very end that Hades kind of orchestrated this whole thing with Seraphim. When you hear Greek history stories, you always hear about Hades, because you're always interested in Hades because he is the outcast of three brothers who was tasked with guarding, the underworld, which is a really horrible job. And he has hated his brothers for, giving him that job and kind of tricking him into doing it since, he was given the job. So I think when it comes to Greek history, he's always played a role. So I was really interested to see when we would see him. And for the whole season, I was like, well, maybe he's just not going to be there. They showed the underworld. They didn't show him. But at the end, we see him. And that was really like exciting for me. And it was really a surprise because I didn't think we were going to see him. But something that I kind of forgot that I shouldn't have forgot, is that like how Zeus has his lightning bolts, Poseidon has a trident, Hades has a bident, which is just two. And who was carrying a bident the whole time? Seraphim. And I just never put those two together, but it was a really cool moment to see that Hades was orchestrating a lot of it. So I'm really excited to kind of see what path they'll go down with Hades, because Hades is crazy. I love Greek history, and the way it was shown in this anime style was really cool for me to see. I thought that this was a cool take on Greek history, and I think that it definitely kept up with all the blood and gore, probably added a little bit more than normal, but it was really interesting to see all of like the craziness. I think this was a great show, and I love Greek history. I've always wanted to see a take on Greek history showing Zeus's infidelities and Hera's anger. I love the storyline in this show, and I really like the animation style, and really just seeing all the gods and all their cool powers. If you have a chance, take a look at this show. It's a fun, easy watch, and it's available on Netflix. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.